Hey guys, today is June 9th, 2020, and I have an updated version of my How to Fix Steam tutorial. This video will show you how to fix the stuck on connecting Steam account message that prevents the old Steam client from launching after the May 31st, 2020 Steam changes. I've learned a bit more about the situation in the last few days, so in this video I'll show you how to fix your Steam client just like before with some new important info, and I'll give you some tips on how to deal with the side effects of this method. Now, like before, let me preface all of this by saying that this has worked for me and many others, but might not work for you. I've tested this on several versions of the Steam client, including the October 2019 client that you're probably on right now, as well as a client version from over 2 years ago. Chances are this will work for any modernish version of Steam. So alright, let's get to it. To begin, I'm going to assume you're starting from the base shown in this video by Leeson, which explains how to get the October 2019 client installed and how to get it to stop updating. If you haven't seen his video, please watch it first. There's a link in the description. Now, I'll show you what I discovered, which is how to get your Steam client to fully launch after the May 31st, 2020 changes. First, make sure Steam isn't running. Open Task Manager and look for any processes that have Steam in the name. If you see Steam, Steam Service, Steam Web Helper, Steam Error Reporter, any of them, right-click and process. Now navigate to where Steam is installed, which is typically at C Program Files 86 Steam. You'll see all the Steam files in here. Then open up the App Cache folder and you'll see 3 VDF files. Now before you do anything, make a backup of these files. You can copy them somewhere, you can put them in a zip and put that somewhere. Doesn't matter, just make sure you have a backup made. Now that your backup is made, we're going to replace these 3 files. We'll start with appinfo.vdf. Right click on it and choose Properties, then Previous Versions, which lists all the shadow copies of the file that are on your hard drive. It may take a bit for this list to load. Now these shadow copies are older versions of the file that exist in your system restore points, which means this method depends on the Volume Shadow service having a version of these files from before May 31st, 2020. If you have System Restore disabled, or you have a very small System Restore allocation, you might not have an old enough version of the file, in which case I'll give you some tips later in the video on what to do in that situation. Let's assume you have a shadow copy from before May 31st. I've got one right here. Select it, then click Copy, and pick a place to save it to. Now repeat this for the other 2 files, which are localization and package info. I've already done this, and I have them right here. Now, this is very important. Make a backup of these extracted files. You are absolutely going to need them later. If you don't back them up, you'll have to go back to the previous versions to get them again, and they might be gone in a few weeks, depending on how much space is in your System Restore. So, make a backup of them, put them somewhere you won't forget, and while you're at it, make a backup of your backup too. Okay, now for the actual Steam fix. This is very simple. Replace the current 3 VDF files with the older 3 that you just extracted. Just like that. And that's the whole thing. Now cross your fingers and launch Steam, and hopefully you'll get in. But you're not done yet. Depending on what games you have and whether or not they get updates, you're going to need to replace the current 3 VDF files with the older versions again and again. In fact, anytime the stuck on connecting Steam account issue starts to appear again, such as after restarting your computer, replace these files with the old versions again. This is because after the May 31st, 2020 Steam changes, these VDF files got a new format that the older Steam clients can't read correctly, and that's what causes the crash, this internal crash, and the always stuck on connecting Steam account issue. So it's very important that you don't lose these old versions that you extracted. Alright, now there are some side effects to this method. These 3 VDF files contain a record of what games are installed on your computer and what version they are, among other things. This means that every time you replace these files with the old versions, Steam's going to think that older versions of your games are installed, and it will try to download updates. As you can see, that's happening right here. As time goes on, and these backups get more and more out of date and more games get updates, Steam's going to download more games each time you replace the files. I don't have an automatic fix figured out for this, but you can manually stop Steam from doing this by using the Verify Game Cache. When a game is trying to update, just go to its properties, local files, and verify integrity of game files. You don't even have to let it finish, just let it get to about 1%, then cancel the verify. In this case, I'm going to let it get to the second item, or let it finish itself like that. And it will realize it doesn't need to update the game, and it won't download the updates. Now back to the possibility of you not having older versions of the 3 VDF files. If you're in that boat, there's 2 chances for you to get older versions. First, if you have Steam installed on another computer that you don't use much, that Steam install might have old versions of the 3 VDF files. Second, you can try getting these files from a friend who has an older copy, but needless to say, never download random files from the internet. Only get them from someone you would trust. If you can't do either, then unfortunately you're out of luck for the time being, and we're just going to have to find up a better solution to this. So, that's the end to this tutorial. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect solution, but it's the only thing that works that I've found so far. The end-all solution is going to be figuring out a way to get the old Steam client to understand the newer VDF format, so it doesn't try to crash when it loads it. But it's a proprietary binary format, so that might as well just be the holy grail here. At any rate, I hope this has worked for you. If not, leave a comment, and maybe we can learn more about the situation. Thanks for watching.